Canelo is getting a whole lot of pushback from the boxing community because of this fight with Jaime Munguia. And of recent, he's essentially said, hey, for David Benavidez to fight me, it's got to be 150 to $200 million for me to get in the ring with him. Again, paraphrasing, of course. But in total, what he said, Benavidez is bigger than me, 25 pounds heavier. He's not a draw. He can't bring me the money or bring the money to this fight to make this a truly big event. Again, this is paraphrasing his words, not my own assumptions. This is ridiculous. We have gotten on this exact subject with Tank, with Canelo, with Tyson Fury in terms of making fights happen with the best in your division when they're right there and you opt to go out of your way and make it not so. Essentially ducking, running, avoiding the challenges, avoiding the fight. Again, we don't say this lightly when we say an opponent is ducking or not. We have to call it like we see it. And this now is egregious because of the very reasons that Canelo said. First and foremost, what do you mean you need 150, $200 million to fight David Benavidez? Like it wouldn't bring a boatload of money already, number one. Number two, Benavidez said he would fight you for $5 million on his end. Yet you give Jaime Munguia, if I have my numbers correctly, upwards of around 35 million. Somewhere around that range, substantially above what David Benavidez said he would fight you for. And thirdly, for you to say that this is not a big money draw when you, in listening to the public and in you being the king, and as you claim yourself to be, understanding how much and how widely anticipated this fight has been wanted by the boxing fan, by the fight fan, let alone the Mexican community. Literally, it is split between you and Benavidez for who the fans in Mexico will root for. And the amount of people that are saying who's going to win, it is as close as we can get to the prime of, actually, it might even be, it's right in the prime, just like it was with Crawford and Spence, in terms of, just like it was with Floyd and Pacquiao. In terms of we want this fight right now, both of you all are right there. And you're at the prime of your careers. You're on the same side of the street promotionally. Both of you all are in the PBC. Now, we're looking and saying, Canelo's coming out and saying all of this stuff that is really degrading how we view him as a boxer. Because this wasn't what Canelo was about early on in his career. Again, I loved him because he fought everybody. I was hesitant to call him a duck because of the fact that his track record had shown he had fought everybody you put in front of him. He fought Billy Joe Saunders. He fought Caleb Plant. He fought just about every reputable champion or contender. He fought Amir Khan. He fought Laura. He fought Trout. He's done what he needed to do to be in the position that he is right now. He became undisputed. He unified all the belts. He moved up to fight Kovalev. He moved up to fight Bivol. Challenges after challenge. We loved and respected it. Fought Floyd early on in his career and developed and overcame. And turned into an even better beast. The prime beast that we know him as now. So this is he earned where he was in terms of, or rather he earned where he is for his status as the biggest name in boxing. He's earned it. There's no doubt in my mind he's earned it. That's absolutely true. He earned it. But the problem is now that he's sitting on top of the throne that he built and justifiably so deserves to sit on as the face of boxing. Now he is doing the complete opposite of what got him to that level and seemingly running away. There's no reason. And he says, put some respect on Jaime Munguia's name. Put respect on that fighter's name. Absolutely. Jaime Munguia deserves all the respect in the world. Has developed, has gotten better, has, again, with that fight against John Ryder, knocking him out in the way that Canelo wasn't able to do. Munguia put his name and earned his name into the sweepstakes of Canelo. I made a video on this in the past. I did a whole podcast on this in the past. He did and earned a shot at Canelo. It just shouldn't have been the next shot. Canelo knows this, and we as fans know this. We all see it with how much of an exciting fight Canelo and Munguia will be, I have no doubt. Munguia did not deserve that shot before somebody like a David Benavidez, nor is he as competitive in terms of a talent standpoint as Benavidez would have been. Not saying he won't give a great show. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that for fighting and vying for the best in the division, it shouldn't have been that we it should not be rather that we are still clamoring for Benavidez to be in the ring with Canelo. Canelo holds all the cards, and he earned the right to hold them. But the problem is now he's gotten to a point where those cards are now being dealt with in a terrible manner, in a manner that we vilify other people like Floyd Mayweather for using and holding. And even with Floyd, with him avoiding Winky Wright, avoiding Keith Thurman, fighting fighters at the right time, fighting, not getting in with the ring with opponents when they were at their best, waiting them out, like with Pacquiao. He's still got in the ring with them inevitably. At least we can say that. Showbiz the Adult, if you follow him on YouTube. Hey, he brought up that same point. Phenomenal. I'm not one that just takes all the points. Somebody else made a great point. You give credit where credit is due. Showbiz made a great point. At minimum, he fought everybody that was at their that was just about everybody. Even though he waited them out. And I hated it. I hated the fact that he didn't fight him at their best. Hated the fact that he didn't fight him at their prime. Outside of Thurman and Winky Wright. However, he still got in the ring at some point in time with them. Better late than never. Though we hate that it was late, it's still, we can at least say for the majority, for the most part, it wasn't never for the majority. With Canelo, he's gotten the ring with everybody. Most up until this point, it's been either with them at or close to their prime. Great. But now he's acting in a way that is incredibly indicative of somebody who is comfortable with their status instead of moving up. He himself said that he has nothing else to prove. He said it himself. And in terms of his legacy, it is cemented. But it's still more to prove in terms of what you can become because you're still in your prime. You still have steps to take. You're still in route if you are Canelo. Trying to get to be or trying to become the greatest Mexican boxer that the sport has seen. That is what your goal is. That's what you want. You want to beat Julio Cesar Chavez. You want to beat Salvador Sanchez. You want to beat these other Carlos Monzon. You want to beat these other legendarily great boxers who have epitomized the Mexican spirit and the Mexican style of boxing and Mexican pride as a whole. Viva Mexico! As you chant out, those are the people that have cemented their legacy. Unlike few ever have, and few ever did in the sport, let alone in the Mexican community. Oh my gosh, they're major. It's like Maradona in Argentina. Even though Messi with everything Messi was accomplishing, it was still held among the people that Maradona was still the best of them because he got the World Cup. Again, Messi is better. Okay, we're getting off track a little bit in terms of crossing over sports. We're getting to a point. Messi is all around a better player than Maradona. Absolutely. But he still needed to accomplish something to put him over the greatness level of Maradona in the eyes of the Argentinian people. And what happened? Boom. Got that World Cup after winning the Ballon d'Or, after winning Player of the Year or Man of the Match, whoever, how many times. Being the most well-rounded and fully near perfect footballer we have ever seen in the history of the game. Better than Pele, better than Ronaldo, better than Ronaldinho, better than Neymar, better than anybody you can put in front of him. He is indeed better. But he achieved what needed to be achieved. With that World Cup, it cemented everything. No longer is there a conversation. No longer is there a conversation. Because he went and took the challenge and overcame it. That's just the fact of the matter. But even if he didn't overcome in terms of Messi, say he never won a World Cup, but he opted to say that I'm bigger than the World Cup, I don't need to play, that would have been so detrimental that he would never be seen like that we see him as now. Definitely not amongst the people that are Maradona fans in that country as a whole. Bringing it back to boxing, Canelo's saying that his legacy is cemented in stone. To a degree it is. Similar with Messi. But because of the challenge of Benavidez, just like the challenge of the World Cup, there was no need to have to say, or there's no point in saying, that you don't need Benavidez. And or Benavidez is too this, that, and the third. When we've seen you do this, that, and the third with other opponents of the like Sergio Kovalev, like Bebo, going up and challenging people that are bigger than you, significantly, 20 plus pounds bigger than you, and beating them. You've done it before. So it makes no sense that you're saying you don't need Benavidez. You're making these outlandish statements about Benavidez, saying that you need this exorbitant amount of money. Essentially, as we've seen some of the best NBA players, as much as a fraction of the money that we're saying Patrick Mahomes get for his tenure with the Kansas City Chiefs. The $500 million for a multi over the course of the entire term of that contract with the Chiefs. Canelo wants $200 million for one fight. The fight is huge. Make it now. You need him. Wrapping this all up in a bow, you need David Benavidez for your legacy of your Canelo. You cannot go throughout your entire tenure as a boxer and never face him. You can't do it. If you want to achieve what you want to achieve, Benavidez is your World Cup of your Canelo. You have to go through him if you want to be seen in the light that you want to see. If you fail, you fail. That's fine. But just like with Messi, if he never won it, if he had never won a World Cup, like it looked like it might have happened, and he might have never won it, but he kept on going and trying, boom, still all the credit in the world, because he still gave phenomenal performances. It just didn't happen. That's fine. But he tested himself continually. And with you as Canelo Alvarez, you have to go through this test. This is the biggest test because you've done everything else. You achieved everything else that you're supposed to achieve. You've done everything else right up until this point. But now, when the time is there, and the time is now, to go and submit further in a bigger fashion than maybe ever in your career, on the level of being the undisputed champion at super middleweight. That's what this fight is. I'm being completely honest. I'm not saying nobody's bigger than the belts. The belts are evident. There should be only one. But again, as an undisputed champion, one of the highest achievements you can get in a boxing career. Understand it. For anybody's legacy. But for this fight, and the trajectory and the story and the legacy that is on the line, there has to be some sense of urgency to say that I got to get in the ring with this guy. I have to. I can't waste time. I can't be sitting here ducking when there is legacy to be made. All this talk about you beat him, you're better than him. If he is that much of a non-factor to you, why don't you get it over with? We've said this before about fighters. If he's that much of a non-issue, get it over and beat him. Knock him out. Make it easy. Show that he doesn't even belong in the same caliber as somebody like you. If that's the case, prove us. That's all you gotta do. Prove us that it is correct. But if you continue to go through this route of running, which is what you're doing, running, this is not okay. You'll never be seen in the light that you want to see. Benavidez is your World Cup of your Canelo. If you don't, at minimum, face him, you'll never be seen as better than Julio Cesar Chavez. You'll never be seen as better than Salvador. You'll never even be able to sniff that compliment. You'll never be able to do it. You will be stuck exactly where you are in the rankings as one of the greatest Mexican boxers that we've ever seen. No doubt about it. Again, legacy to a degree cemented. You are one of the all-time greats. But you'll be stagnant as one of, and not in conversations for the greatest. There's a difference. One of and the are two completely different categories of fighter. Categories of greatness. One of the greatest of all time is where you're at in terms of Canelo. No doubt about it. But to be in conversation for the greatest, you've got to go through. You've got to go through Canelo. I mean, you got to go through David Benavidez. You have to, you Canelo. Because like I said before, there is nobody else in the division to fight. None. None whatsoever. Not a soul is left in the division for you to have a challenge against that has earned the right nor been as potent of a threat as somebody like David Benavidez. David Benavidez is the man that is the boogeyman for the entire division. The known threat that he is. And you and Canelo beat him, boom, we have nothing to say. We got nothing to say. Great. Phenomenal. If you lose to him, okay, fine. Rematch him. Do what Triple G did with you. Fight him 3 times. I don't care. You got to get in the ring. You have to. It's not even about the wins or losses at this point. It's just about getting in the ring, making the fight happen instead of running like you're doing, because you are not acting like a champion that you represent right now. You have the belts. You have the titles. You have the aura, the cachet. You have the pull. But you are acting like somebody who doesn't want that at all when it comes to David Benavidez. Because every excuse in the book seemingly comes with David Benavidez. But with everybody else, oh yeah, let's make it happen. Backs down questions when asked about him. Downplays the significance of that fight. Says that it's easy, yet also says it's not worth his time. There's it doesn't make any sense. It's acting foolish. And it's terrible for the sport. When the biggest name in the world is acting like he's acting against his biggest opposition, it's outright terrible. It's horrible. It should not be what's going on. This is not the Canelo that everybody fell in love with, nor the Canelo that everybody respected. This is not the Canelo that everybody looked to as a larger-than-life figure. Somebody who had conquered the game. Somebody who had been, and deservedly so, and still is, at the top of the mountain. Seen as the cash cow. The man to represent the sport. That is Canelo Alvarez. Right now, while he's in that position, when it comes to David Benavidez, he is acting completely opposite of what that position should represent. The status that he's got. He's acting completely opposite of what it should be. And it's insanely infuriating.